Hello friends, today we are facing a new topic, that is a prose, a letter by Hazlitt to his son, written by William Hazlitt. William Hazlitt. Now let's we start an introduction of William Hazlitt. William Hazlitt, 1778 to 1830, was an English critic and essayist. He wrote and published several volumes of essays, but his best critical work is the three courses of lectures on the English poet, on the English comic writers, and on the dramatic literatures of the age of Queen Elizabeth. William Hazlitt was an English critic. Critic means samikshak, and essayist. Essayist means nibandhakar. He wrote many volumes of essays and his critical works also. Out of these critical works, his three courses of lectures, that is on the English poet, on the English comic writers, and on the dramatic literatures of the age of Queen Elizabeth. These three books are very important. He was rather quarrelsome by nature, which accounts for his unhappy relations with his wife and friends. He was very quarrelsome, rather quarrelsome by nature. That's why the result is that his relation with his wife and his friends were very unhappy and very bad effect on the personality of William Hazlitt. Perhaps he recognized these traits in his son. Perhaps he recognized these traits in his son and wanted him to develop a more pleasing personality. And he also wanted that his son also should be a good person and not a bad or quarrelsome person like William Hazlitt. That's why he warned, or he wanted to develop a very pleasing and good personality of his son. That's why he wrote a letter to his son. It's an advice to his son. All young people can learn a lesson from Hazlitt's advice to his son. It is not only for beneficial to Hazlitt's son, but all the young people also learn from this letter. In the category of both fiction and non-fiction, there is a subgenre called the epistolary or letter writing form. In the category of fiction and non-fiction, there is a subgenre called epistolary, means in the letter form. In this context, Hazlitt writes a letter in the epistolary form of the fictional and non-fictional. In this context, Hazlitt writes a letter to his son after his son returns from school complaining about his fellow students and expressing disagreeable opinions of them. Why Hazlitt has written such type of letter to his son? Because he has written this letter to his son after returning from school complaining about his classmates or about his fellow students. and his opinion about his classmates were very disagreeable opinion. The letter was written in the hope that his son would not grow to form immediate prejudices of others, but would rather mature into a well-rounded gentleman. And William Hazlitt wanted to teach his son not to immediately irritate by seeing the behavior of his son's classmates. The letter was written in the hope that his son would not grow to form immediate prejudices, and he also frightens about the prejudices of others would grow in the mind of his son. That's why he wanted to write such type of letters to his son, but would rather mature into a well-rounded gentleman, capable of accepting his situation in life and aspiring to help and respect others, especially those who may not be as fortunate as he is. Hazlitt wanted to respect his son to the other papers or older ones, or he also accept the situation, whatever may be the situation in life, he has the capacity to handle all the situations, and also aspire to help the students, those who are unfortunate in their lives. My dear little fellow, you are now going to settle at school and may consider this as your first entrance into the school. Now, friends, Hazlitt has started the actual letter to his son, and in the opening he writes, "My dear little fellow," means his son is learning in school. He was a very little fellow at that time. You are now going to settle at school, and many considers this as your first entrance into the world. And he also told him that his first entrance in this huge world. As my health is so indifferent and I may not be with you long. And he also warned him that Hazlitt's health was not very good, and he might be able to live long with his son. That's why, in the absence of Hazlitt, how his son should behave to the fellow students and in the world, in actual life. I wish to leave you some advice for your conduct in life, both that it may be of use to you and as something to remember me by, and it is beneficial for Hazlitt's son. I may at least be able to caution you against my own errors, if nothing else. And he also warned, he also cautious about his son. That's why his behavior was not as good as other people's, and he also wanted to make his son's behavior as very good behavior and very good personality. That's why he warned to his son. As we went along to your new place of destination, you often repeated that you just say that they were a set of stupid, disagreeable people, meaning the people at the school. And he also told his son that when his son enters the school and meets the different type of peoples, he should not be prejudiced to the other peoples. You were to blame in this. You are away from to blame other peoples or other fellow students. It is a good old rule to hope for the best. Always, my dear, believe things to be right till you find them the contrary, and even then, instead of irritating yourself against them, endeavors to put up with them as well as you can, if you cannot alter them. And he also warned his son that he believe things those that are right, and he also away from irritating himself against the other students, and he also tried to put up cool and calm with the other people. If he did not agree with the opinion of the others, or if he was not able to alter the other peoples, then you should follow the rules of others. You said you were sure you should not like the school where you were going. This was wrong. What you meant that you did not like to leave home, but you could not tell whether you should like the school or not. Still, you had given it a trial. Otherwise, you were lying. That you should like it was determining that you would not like it. You should not like the school. If the school is not like because your entry in this school is a new world for you, that's why. That was wrong for Hazlitt's son, but Hazlitt wanted to adjust his son with the people and the atmosphere. Never anticipate evils, or because you cannot have things exactly as you wish. And he also warned to his son that he should adjust all these things because his son's wish is not live long in this atmosphere or in the behavior of other peoples. Make them out worse than they are through more spite and willfulness. Towards universal brotherhood, you seemed at first to take no notice of your school fellows or to set yourself against them, because they were stranger to you. And by developing or for or to develop the universal brotherhoods among all the peoples. One can learn the goodness from the other peoples, not badness from the other peoples. And Hazlitt also warned his son that the other students are the strangers to his son. That's why they are able or unable. It is not the job of his son. They knew as little of you as you did of them. This would have been a reason for their keeping aloof from you as well, which you would have felt as a hardship. Learn never to conceive a prejudice against others because you know nothing of them. Nothing of them. It is a bad reasoning and makes enemies of half the world. And what is good or what is bad? There is no job of his son but to learn good from everyone and to away from very bad peoples. It is a bad reasoning and makes enemies of the world. Don't prejudice against others, he also warned to his son, because prejudices makes man's enemies, and for doing such type of work or such type of habits in any person, then the person makes half the world enemies to him. Do not think ill of them till they behave ill to you. And he also warned his son that he was not able to do ill work for the other peoples, for the fellow students, and then strive to avoid the faults. And he also tried to avoid the faults of other peoples which you see in them. This will disarm their. When anyone can notice the fault of the others, then the person himself is disarm their hostility, means he also inbuilt in himself a bad habit to find faults of other peoples. That's why he also warned his son that this will disarm their hostility sooner than pique or resentment or complaint. I thought you were disposed to criticize the dress of some boys as not as good as your own. Never despite anyone for anything that he cannot help, least of all for his poverty. Hazlitt also warned his son that do not compare the dress of the other peoples or do not criticize to the fellow students because of their dress, because of their behavior, because they maybe belongs to the very poor economic condition. That's why never despise anyone for anything that he cannot help, least of all for his poverty. I would wish you to keep up appearances yourself as a defense against the idle sneers of the world, but I would not have you value yourself upon them. I hope you will neither be the dupe nor victim of vulgar prejudices. And he also warned that he has hope from his son. His son would not be neither dupe or not victims of vulgar prejudices. Instead of saying never despite anyone for anything that he cannot help, I might have said never despite anyone at all. He also warns that not to despite anyone in any time or at all times. For contempt implies a triumph over and pleasure in the ill of another, and do not pleasure in the illness of other peoples, he also warned to his son. It means you are glad and congratulate yourself on their failings and misfortunes. He also warns that his son should not be glad or good by seeing the failings of the others or by seeing the failings of the misfortunes. Okay, friends, now you will see the remaining part of the lesson tomorrow. Okay, thank you, friends.